Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to scale your business through paid ads, whether you run an agency, coaching business, you're a consultant, whatever, any online high ticket offer. I'm going to show you exactly how to scale it through paid ads. Now, the reason why I'm explaining how to do it through paid ads and not through cold DMs, cold email, organic content is because hands down, paid ads are the best and most consistent way to generate high ticket clients. Okay. If you're currently running paid ads, whether you're running them at, I don't know, $500 a day, $1,000 a day, or even if you're starting at like $30 per day, this is going to be useful to you. Okay. Now, number one, the most important thing when it comes to running ads, hands down, is your offer. And, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, Jake, I already have an offer. I already have something that I'm giving to the market. And yes, I'd hope you do, but this is where a lot of people get it wrong. So, first thing when it comes to an offer is you need to figure out exactly who it is you're working with, right? And some people call this a niche, the market, whatever. You need to figure out exactly who is that ideal client you want to work with. Now, for us, we work with agencies and coaches, right? So, all right, here, coaches. Now, the reason why we need to identify exactly who it is that we're working with is because we need to figure out exactly what it is that they want. What is the desirable thing that they want? What situation, what desirable situation do they want to be in? So if we use coaches as the example, we know they really want one thing, and that's to grow revenue, right? They want to grow revenue or they want more clients. So that's why when we create our offer, even for my business, we have it so it's very, very, very clients driven, and that we're going to get them clients. Now, another place kind of where people go wrong is that they make their offer kind of like the Hormozi type offer, right? We'll get you 1 million clients in 30 days, right? And yes, those offers do work, but the problem is that they're so saturated now. Every single person in the market has seen it. Okay, every person has seen this kind of offers. So you need to go kind of one step further. And then this is what I call the unique mechanism comes into play. Okay, so with the unique mechanism, right, this is kind of where you're able to create something that the market hasn't seen before, and it explains exactly what you do in a way that's actually going to be different and shows you why you're superior than everybody else. So this can be anything. Like for us, we use something called an AI appointment generator. You can basically come up with any kind of name, any kind of backend system that explains why you're different and superior to everybody else in the market, but still leads to them getting the desired result, right? So that's super important as well. Now, once we have the actual ideal client, so with the offer, your niche, the exact market you want to go in after, your unique mechanism, then you want to have it in some kind of time frame. So with the time frame, ideally we want this to be anywhere between 30 to 90 days. Now, the reason why we want it to be within 30 to 90 days is because this is what we find where most people are wanting to get the desired result in that specific time frame threshold. And the reason is because if you go, I don't know, we'll get you a result in 180 days in a year, it's far too long, right? They kind of want those quick wins. So 30 to 90 days is what we find is usually best. And then last thing is the risk reversal. You've heard this before, or you don't pay, or you work for free, whatever. This is hands down also the most important thing because if the client comes on board, they want to know that you're going to be able to achieve them the results. Okay? Now, hopefully that makes sense. So the next thing we need, once we have built out the offer, now just remember with the offer, you want to make sure that you've figured out exactly what it is the market wants. So if you know what your market is, whether you work with agencies or coaches, you need to figure out, okay, what do these guys want? Do they want more clients at a certain ticket price? Do they want more qualified booked appointments, more leads? Whatever your market is, you need to figure out exactly what it is that they want. But once you have identified what it is the market wants, now when we're going to scale through paid ads, we just need to build a trust asset. And this is kind of number two, and this is what we call the VSL. Obviously, you've heard of a VSL before, but the way we kind of do the VSL is a little bit different. Instead of making a video sales letter where you're just selling the prospect, instead you want to create a video which actually builds the trust within the prospect. And the way you do this is through kind of two ways. One, by going back to that unique mechanism I was talking about, right? So with the unique mechanism, we basically want to talk about why what we do is completely different to anything else they've seen on the market. For example, everybody's seen the 10,000 clients in 30 days offer. Why is what we do different to those kind of people? And you want to kind of create a simultaneous situation where you're explaining why your service gets people results, but in a way they've never tried before. So we, like at my business, we run paid ads and we do well over 6 figures a month. But I don't want to explain to my prospect, hey, we will run your ads for you. The reason is because people don't give a shit. They don't care about running ads. They don't care about we can help them run their ads. What they want is a result. So my unique mechanism, I mean, we didn't even really talk about our ads or that we run ads for our clients. Instead, we talk about how we do X, Y, Z. Okay. And the reason why we do it that way is because we know that our market it's already been saturated. They've been burnt by the past of people that have run ads. So we need to create this VSL now that builds the trust and then kind of explores and explains our unique mechanism. Now, the VSL was obviously going to be put onto the funnel. Now, we run a very simple call funnel. And if you're starting off or you're even doing, like I said, $1,000 a day in ad spend, the best possible funnel that you can run is the call funnel. Okay? The call slash VSL funnel. Same thing, right? So the reason why we want to run this kind of funnel is because it is by far the cheapest and most consistent funnel to get qualified booked appointments. So there's a lot of other funnels out there. Like there's webinars, there's challenge funnels, there's lead magnets. Like all those do work. Yes, I'm not saying they don't work. But what I'm saying is that the call funnel outperforms them massively. So if you're not running the call funnel, I mean, if what you're doing is working, but you're not running a call funnel, I would go ahead and test the call funnel as soon as you can. In fact, we've stopped doing lead forms. We've completely cut off lead forms from our business. And now we only use the call funnel. And the main reason for that is because it's outperformed everything. So with the call funnel, what we do is we identify our exact ideal client. What they do is they see our ad, right? They'll watch it, they'll see our offer, cool, they'll click on the ad, go to our funnel, and then from this funnel, they go ahead and book in a call. Okay, so they book a call. Now, once we have this, we know that we've basically got them into our kind of into our network. Now we're able to kind of leverage any kind of pre-call assets. We're able to leverage and send them over videos, all these things, emails, right? And what that's going to allow us to now do is build trust before the call as well. So trust is super important, and it's why the VSL, we're trying to give out all the trust that we possibly can and make sure that the prospect really understands what it is that we do before the call. So the prospect then obviously will book in a call. Now, once they've booked in a call, okay, obviously this comes to step 3, and this is super important, and that's the sales process. Okay. Now, with the sales process, you need a repeatable and consistent way to generate high ticket clients. And a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people don't have a single framework that they follow for every call. So you need one framework. And the reason I say framework is because you don't want to follow a script. You don't want one script that's tailored to just one kind of person, because the problem with that is you get all kinds of people with the call funnel. You get people that are doing 5K a month, you get people doing 100K a month, you get people who are in different kind of stages of their business. So using one script for only one kind of person doesn't make sense if you're getting hundreds of different kinds of people. So you need a framework that works for everybody. Now, the framework really for cold ads is simply a discovery. So this is where you obviously build up what is it that they're currently doing? What have they tried before? What's working? What's not working? Then we kind of go into the pitch. Right now, I'll explain the pitch because it's super important that you get this right. And then after the pitch, that's kind of where we go into the price drop. But also even before the price drop, we want to basically make sure that this is exactly what they're looking for. Tie them down, make sure this is, answer any questions. Then we go into the price drop, and then we objection handle. Now, when we objection handle, obviously that's where, we need to make sure that we're actually overcoming objections. And we're not just being like, yeah, let's book in a follow-up call. And I'll explain that too. So with the discovery, very important. You want to figure out what it is that they've tried before. Maybe they've clicked on an ad before. Like if they've clicked on somebody's ad before, like yours, and, they have gone with that agency or they've gone with that person and it didn't work, you need to figure out why it didn't work. Because then in your pitch, if you explain exactly what it is that they've tried before, they're never going to move forward because they've already tried it and it didn't work. So this is why in the discovery, always ask, okay, what is it that you've tried? What is it that you're currently doing? What's working? What's not working? Right? And then in our pitch, we use that and we say, okay, you told me you're doing this. This is what we do. And this is why it's completely different and why it's going to work. So for example, if we have a client say, oh, I'm doing cold DMs, right? I'm only doing cold DMs. That's how I'm getting all my clients. Then we'll say to them, well, what we do is not cold DMs. In fact, it's completely different. We run your ads completely done for you, which means you're never going to have to worry about sending a cold DM ever again. And you're only going to get high intent people coming to you, only inbound leads instead of you having to do all this outbound. So we frame it. We frame it in a way where we're positioning ourselves as different. And that comes back to the last point, why it's so important to have that unique mechanism and explain why you are different to everybody else in the market. Now, with the price drop, okay, the number one thing where people get wrong is they don't understand, or they don't, first of all, get the yes from the prospect. So they will just go through the pitch, be like, sounds good, cool, the price is 10K. Prospect's like, oh, okay. Like there was no kind of confirmation, is this what they want? Because you don't want to drop a price and tell someone the price is something if it's not even what they want. So this is where in the pitch I'll write here, pre-price drop. And pre-price drop, you need to be going, okay, any questions to me first of all about this process? Okay, answer their questions. Then after you've answered the questions, then you can go into kind of, okay, what do you think about all this? Is this what you're looking for? Okay, it is. Why is this what you're looking for? Okay, and then you kind of build that up, you get the tie down, and then you go into the price drop and be like, okay, cool, you're happy, you love it, cool, the price is 10K. And then you go into obviously handling the objections. All the objections, obviously you got trust, fear, partner objection, all these things, but you will get better over time handling those. And the most important thing is obviously building out or making sure you have and you're following this framework before you even get into any objections. So that's also really important, is having that validated and consistent sales process. So what you're going to find now is once you implement this, okay, once you have the offer, once you have the VSL, once you have the sales process, you're going to be in a position where you can ultimately scale your business any way you like. And I'll explain how. So what we do, or how we initially started, or what I did initially, was I spent $30 per day. That's all, $30 per day. Okay? From this $30 per day, I think I was able to gain like 2 clients. So 2 high ticket clients, I think it was like 2K a month. Right? I just reinvested this back into my ad spend. And then, would you look at that? I took this to now, it was $75 per day. The way I did this though, and just so you know, look at the budget I started on. I didn't start on like $100 per day, $200 per day. I started on $30 per day, right? Super low. And what I did was I used the clients I got from the initial campaign and used that money to bump up my ad spend. And then I just repeated this whole thing over and over and over again until I started spending nearly $700 per day, right? Now, I didn't get to that overnight. And I actually didn't even use my own money. As you can see, I just used the clients that I generated. So I was able to buy clients profitably, okay? And you want to get to a point where you're sitting at anywhere from a 3 to 5x ROAS, cash ROAS on the front end, so that you can just comfortably and profitably buy clients every single month. Because I know my $700 per day will turn 3x to 5x, and then I can just use this to bump it to 1K a day in ad spend. And then I'm going to be able to consistently grow my revenue, okay? Now, this is really important because a lot of people think that, to scale a business, they have to start on these big budgets or, they have to make sure that everything is perfect. But no, all you need, like I said, is the offer. You create your offer, you create your ad. Your ad is, your offer should be majority of the ad itself. But obviously in the ad, you explain, what it is that you do, all those kind of things. You walk through the results, right? So you have obviously the offer and then you have that in the ad. Now, the VSL, kind of like a 3 to 5 minute video. Build up trust, build out why you're different, explain all that, and make sure you're using the call funnel, right? It's super important that you're using the actual call funnel itself and not any kind of other funnel. And then when you're getting people on the call, you're using a validated sales process, right? And this validated sales process is going to allow you to sign high-ticket clients that don't even know who you are. It's going to allow you to sign people that clicked on an ad, and then within 24 hours, they're purchasing something that you offered them, right? Because they want your offer and it's desirable, and you have a sales process which figures out in the pitch, lays out everything that they want. And if you got all of that right, then you're going to be sitting at a 3 to 5x ROAS on the front end. And then all you need to do is double your spend, right? So then you need to double your spend. Then you need to kind of go from $30 a day to $75 a day, 75 to 700, 700 to 1K a day. And that's how you profitably scale your online service-based business. Now, if you want to know kind of more and you want to just chat with me about how I can help you, I'll put a link in the description. I'm not going to sell you on anything. Literally, if you have a business, marketing agency, you're a coach or consultant, we'll have a chat. I'll walk through your metrics, walk through your numbers, see how you can scale, and we'll just have a chat. So hopefully this video was helpful, and let me know if there's any other questions in the comments. Take care.